Hey everybody, Flip and Danny here, founders of the Freedom Real Estate Group family of companies, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, which is called
Freedom Through Passive Income.
That's right. And today's episode is the best life, business, and investment lesson and the keys to getting started. Now, I know that right now you're listening to a book that's super cool because you got they read the chapter and then they do the extra stuff in between the chapters, and so you get the extra goodness.
Those are my favorite.
And I know you're very passionate about this, so take it away.
Okay, so if you've listened to us before, you've heard us talk about Who Not How, my all-time favorite game-changing book in business.
Right.
Well, this is by the same authors. It's by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Kennedy. It's really Dan Kennedy's ideas that come from this, and Dr. Benjamin Hardy then takes those ideas and he puts it in written form. And then when they do the audiobooks, this is why I like listening to the audiobooks, is because they'll read a chapter, or Dr. Benjamin Hardy will read a chapter, and then in the middle, he'll go, "So Dan, this is what we just read." And then they'll just start bantering back and forth and talking about it, and Dan's wisdom just kind of flows, and it's really incredible to listen to his examples and, what he thinks and how he feels, and the strategicness of his thought process. Man, it just blows me away. So I love this. If you're going to read this book, I would advise listening to it.
That kind of sounds like our bantering, I flow.
You do.
Yeah.
Wise as soul I know, baby.
Yeah. All right, everybody, if you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, this is your chance right now. Now you see the like button right here, and you see the heart button right there. This is your chance in the video to smash these buttons. Make sure you hit that heart button. Make sure you hit that like button if you like what you're seeing and if you enjoy what you're watching. But this is your chance right now to smash.
And just remember, this is how we show social media algorithms that you like what we're sharing. So for adding any kind of value over this 365-day series, we hope you'll help us out by sharing the love.
Yeah. So again, Hulk smash. Okay, so back to the script.
So gap versus gain. What's so powerful about this book is because Flip's going to chime in a lot here because I always tend to judge myself on the goal line. And that goal line, I always move it, don't I?
Right.
I say, here's our 2020 goals, our 2021 goals. And then suddenly I'm like, ooh. We can make it, and so I keep on moving them, and I'm judging myself about how far we've gotten. So if we've only gotten a quarter of the way, and we're halfway through the year, I am freaking frustrated, and I'm just racing, and I'm putting so much stress and pressure on myself to be able to get farther, because I made it a year goal, and I've got to think different. I've got to think outside the box. How do I get there faster? That's why Who Not How became so important, right? Because that started changing the game in terms of how we got there faster.
Yep.
But anyways, I was judging myself in this gap. And so if you're watching the video as opposed to the podcast, you're going to see me drawing a starting line, right? And then I'm going to draw a finish line way up here over by Flip. And I'm judging myself in the gap between the starting line and the finish line. And that the book is telling you, don't judge yourself there. The goal line, that finish line, that's an inspiration. You are to be inspired to reach this point. But you don't judge yourself for not getting there.
Right.
In fact, instead, you judge yourself for the gain that you've taken to get to the finish line.
Right.
So these same two benchmarks, starting line and finish line, if we got a quarter of the way there, I should be judging myself on that gain. I should be celebrating on that gain. Of,
look what we did.
This is so fantastic. And, and being inspired, not frustrated, inspired that goal line is still there. Fantastic. And then every single day I'm still, celebrating. I gotta stop using the word judging because that's what I have done in the past. Celebrating how far we've come and how closer we are to that finish line.
Right.
Whether it moves or not, just celebrating what we've done. And so one of Dan Kennedy's things in that I just started, and if anybody follows me on Facebook or Flip, because I tag him in literally everything that I do, I created a book and it said it's for a win streak. And his idea was you write down at the end of the day top 3 wins. And then you write down and forecast your top 3 wins for tomorrow so that you go to bed kind of in your head, this is what I'm going to do. These are the 3 things, no more than 3, because if you know me, I put 20 things on my list and then I'm frustrated by not finishing 20. I'm so ridiculous sometimes. So he said, just 3, forecast 3 things. That's it. So take your top 3, take your tomorrow's forecast. And the very first night that I did it, I literally woke up reciting the 3 that I said I was going to win. And we were on a plane that next day.
Yep.
And by 4:30, we had gotten up at like 3. We were in the car, and by 4:30 a.m., we had knocked 2 of the 3 out.
Right.
It was so. And so I commented on that thread on Facebook, going, "No, we just did." But anyways, the idea of the win streak is to be celebrating, teaching yourself to celebrate the gains that you have have come to. So one of the things that what I want to talk about in the example that I want to give here was that a lot of people will look at financial freedom or passive income freedom, whatever that looks like. They're going to look at this finish line and never get started because they've got a job, they've got kids, they've got something going on. And so they're going to see the distance between, or the gap between these 2 lines, and just, why should I take 1 step when it's going to take 1,000 steps to get there? And so they get frustrated. Well, this book and this lesson, which is why I said it's the greatest lesson that I've heard in life, business, and investing, says, who cares? Take 1 step. Because 1,000 steps is how many years?
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, about 2.5 years. So if over the next 2.5 years you take 1 step a day, that's it. 1 step. Then at night, what's my win? It's 1, not 3, right? It's just, I took 1 step today.
Yep.
And of 1,000, 2.5 years later, you did it.
Yep.
Because you had the courage and the intelligence and the strategic nature to go, 1 step a day is okay. Because that means I'm accomplishing something. And I've got some gains to celebrate. And celebrating them every single day means suddenly you're there. And we can relate this to building these companies, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, I wasn't good at celebrating the gains. Every now and then you'd be like, can you just take 5 minutes to celebrate what just happened? And I just wouldn't, because I was looking at the gap again.
Right.
But you can do this, and you can start your win streak, and you can get there, because suddenly when we had these 5 companies and we were talking about hiring a CEO, we're like, and it just blew me out of the water.
Right.
So I think that's the lesson here, is that the goal line should be your inspiration, but not the benchmarks of which you judge your achievement.
It always reminds me of the one thing that I've said for years, and every time I used to say it, you'd always roll your eyes. Here this comes again. And because I'd always say the Great Wall of China was started with just 1 brick.
That's right. Yeah, you're good at those one-liners.
Thank you.
You're always trying to teach me. I just don't always listen.
I'm used to
it. But anyways, I hope that everybody got some value out of that. I'm telling you, get the book, listen to it. There's so many more lessons in that book, and man, it just blew me away.
The marathon starts with the first step.
That's right. Yeah. How many more are you going to pull out?
Okay. I'll stop there. So then, anything else there?
No, I covered everything.
Yes.
I think taking your next step towards freedom today is the most important message here, right? Take 1 step. 1 step at a time is okay.
Yep, just do it.
Yep.
So again, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, make sure you, if you have any questions, make sure you let us know. Our Facebook group right up top here, facebook.com/groups/freedom
through passive income.
And right down here is our website, freedomcapitalinvestments.com. Make sure you love, like, comment, give us any pointers, questions, comments, whatever.
Feedback,
exactly.
Anything that you have.
So let us know down there. But again, we always like to end all of our episodes.
Invest smart.
Live happy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Countdown.
For keeping us on track. Sometimes I'm out of my ear going, crane around. I'm not out of my ear.
Out of your ear? You're looking out of your ear now? Nothing in the show should be considered specific personal or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions and information on the show are not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss.